What's up, everybody on YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the LMR Bagpipes YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a few things pertaining to bagpipes. The first thing is, why did I choose mouth-blown Scottish small pipes over bellows-blown pipes? Well, that's because it offers me a more direct and intimate connection with the instrument, just like the great Highland bagpipes. As you probably know, that's actually the instrument that I played when I was in Virginia. I was a part of Siren City, or City of Norfolk, when I was a part of the pipe band. They're now rebranded as Siren City, and I still think of the people there whenever I watch some of my Highland bagpipe videos, or when I get on my small pipes. I like to think of some of the people, some of the colleagues that I've played with in the pipe band. So that's why I play mouth-blown pipes instead of Scottish small pipes instead of bellows-blown. But it would be cool to try bellows blown one day, but personally for me, until I can master, which I could be thinking bellows are not quite hard to master. It's just a new skill. But at the same time, I personally like the mouth blown pipes because it's very similar to the Highland pipes. And in other words, Scottish small pipes, whether they're mouth blown or bellows blown, actually use the same fingering as the Highland pipes. So that's why I choose mouth-blown Scottish small pipes, and another reason why is because it gives me a break from the practice chanter, and it allows me to play the tunes with the drones like the pipes, and that is why I also play them. And plus, they're not as loud as the Highland pipes. And now today we're going to talk about how to start on bagpipes. Now, personally for me, I would recommend that you always play with a drone. When you're playing, even if it's just one drone. I'll go ahead and shut my tenor drone. I use 2 drones on my set, even though I have 3 drones on my pipes, and these are set up just like the Highland pipes: 1 bass drone, 2 tenor drones. But personally for me, I prefer to have 2 drones. I could use 3 drones, but it would be better if I could convert my middle tenor drone into a baritone drone, which I know how to do that. Just switch the bass reed out and put it in the middle. I'm going to turn. Now, personally for me, if you want to start with 1 drone, I would start with your tenor drone, because then you can work on, just make sure that reed shuts down. There we go. It'll allow you to have a more direct tuning relationship with your tenor drone, with your chanter, because that's how I played bagpipes first, starting out when I started on drones. And if y'all remember Thaddeus, he's been in quite a few of my bagpipe videos. Let me go ahead and turn off. The bass drum is still active, so let me turn that off. Now, if y'all notice, I calibrate my bass drone in a way to where I don't shut off my bass drone, because I like having more volume on my drones, specifically the bass. But now it's fully shut off. Oh, maybe not. It's still. Just make sure that it's fully closed. So I'm going to move that bridle down a little more and straighten it out. There we go. Alright, it's completely shut off. Just had to put the reed in my mouth. Now, that's another reason why I also like mouth-blown Scottish small pipes, because I can easily just put the drone in my mouth and not be affected by a long drone reed that's trying to go down my throat and stuff. And that's another advantage to small pipes, is the drone reeds are smaller, not as like the Highland pipes. Anyways, here we go. Now, thankfully, my tenor reed is quieter, Now, when I started out on bagpipes, and thanks to Chaz, I still remember him. Now, when I started out on pipes, I had all my drones turned off. Now, of course, I had the corks, so I was playing goose pipe style. And what that means is you're not using drones, you're just playing the chanter. Personally, for me, I would not just play a goose pipe. You can develop bad habits when you're playing. So that's why I would recommend that you personally start out with a drone. Now, it'd be good to start out on the chanter, just use the chanter. Now, I would not do that when you're practicing on mouth-blown pipes. I personally would recommend that you do not play goose pipes. Although they can help you with breathing and all that stuff, I would not recommend it just because you can develop bad habits. And I know that because I watched Matt Willis, bagpiper, talk about it. About that, I'm calibrating my tenor drone back. I actually want to make it a little softer. Okay, that should be good. All right. Now we're going to bring this up. So always play with a drone when you're playing these pipes, whether you're playing Highland pipes or small pipes. Again, stay away from the goose pipes. That's my personal thing, is I would stay away from goose pipes because they will not give you the same effect as Highland pipes or small pipes. Well, goose pipes are a type of small pipe, but calibrate this drone. Alright, there we go. Put that back in. That was my bass drone, by the way. And I personally would recommend that you use 1 or 2 drones. And again, it all boils down to Um, what, well, technically it all boils down to you want to learn the bagpipes, and also it'll teach you about drone calibration. So that's one thing that I didn't learn until later on down the road. When I first started playing the pipes, I actually just started on the chanter. Not just the practice chanter, but when I went on the actual pipes, I started on just the chanter. Now, personally for me, it worked, but it's not going to work in the long run. That's why I would suggest, if you have a bagpipe teacher, have him or her open up your drones, or at least one drone, because honestly, you can't develop good habits if you're just using the chanter. That's why I would suggest open one drone. Even if you have your own set of bagpipes, I would learn how to do it, and I will possibly put out another video on how to calibrate drones and all that stuff, on how to do that with your bagpipes. But I would start on definitely the chanter. Use your practice chanter too, but when you're on the pipes, use the chanter, but you need to have one or two drones going. Now, I would say don't use all three drones when playing the pipes. Stick with one or two, but when you're starting on the pipes, I personally would say use one or two drones. Or get yourself a set of one of these. If you haven't gotten your first set of bagpipes, get you one of these. These are small pipes. They're not as expensive as pipes. Now, it depends on what company you get them from. I got mine from Piper's Choice about a year ago, and they actually were pretty good. Ran me about $560. But again, small pipes are pretty inexpensive. They're nice, but Gibsons, personally for me, I would go for Piper's Choice. They can get pretty pricey, but Gibson, they're probably about as expensive as just a Highland pipe, especially if you go for the cultivate pipes, which are the ones that have the drones that go across your forearm and all that stuff. That's the cultivate style set of pipe. That's where the drones are in a common stock, and they lay across your arm like this. I actually have done that before, right? Even though these are in different stocks, I have played these pipes like that. Personally, you're not supposed to do that with this type of set. These are referred to as fireside style, or as I also like to call them, the Highland style, where the pipes go across your shoulder. This is known as fireside, or as I like to call them, the Highland style, because the drones, you have the chanter down here, the blowpipe up here, and the drones, the base drone in particular, lays across actually goes over your shoulder, and the tenor drones are splayed out like this, and basically your left arm is basically holding up all the drones, and these are referred to as over the shoulder pipes, which that's what the great Highland bagpipes are. Now again, these are mouth blown small pipes, so you're gonna find some familiarity with this. You will find familiarity with this because they are over the shoulder, just like the great Highland bagpipes, and that'll get you used to having drones on your shoulder. Let's also remember that cultivate style, where the drones are in the common stock, like this. Yes, they'll get you used to playing Scottish small pipes if you play that style of pipe, small pipes. But if you're also playing Highland pipes and want to use them as a transitional instrument from a practice chanter to Highland pipes, do not play them like the cultivate style of pipe, where they're in a common stock and they lay across your arm like this. Get the over-the-shoulder variant of pipe, or again, as I like to call it, the Highland pipe style, or the Highland style of small pipe. And yes, go with mouth blown, because combining those two factors, make sure your small pipes are mouth blown. Now, if you wanted to do bellows blown, that's good, but if you're also playing Highland pipe, you need a set of mouth blown pipes, mouth blown small pipes. But if you go mouth blown and Highland style, those are the two factors that you're going to need if you're transitioning from practice chanter to Highland pipes. So, drones, yes. Mouth blown, yes. Chanter, yes. Highland style or fireside, definitely a must. If you're going, those are my personal recommendations. If you're planning on purchasing a set of small pipes to get yourself used to Highland pipes, but also use them as an indoor instrument for folk type music as well. But I would also recommend, if you're playing also in a Highland pipe band like I was, this is why I also like the over-the-shoulder pipes. Now I do have the other practice pipes, which I don't use. They are the Cayley style, which the drones go over your right forearm. That's called Cayley style. Gibson refers to those pipes as that. They're one of their sets of pipes as the Cayley style of pipe. But I play the fireside pipe, but also known as the Highland style, because the drones are in different stocks and they go across your shoulder. These are also known as the over-the-shoulder pipes. This includes the Highland bagpipes. And I want to say the gaita from Spain is also over the shoulder as well, even though it has maybe one or two drones. Mostly two drones, but we also have one drone variants of gaitas. Those are also over the shoulder. Most bagpipes, especially the Scottish Highland pipes, are going to be over your shoulder, because that's actually what I normally play on this channel. That is what I focus on. The uilleann pipes and the Scottish border pipes are mostly going to be your, well, I should say most Scottish small pipes are going to be Cayley style, where the drones go over your right forearm. Now I want to say the uilleann pipes are a bit different, even though their drone style is the same, because those go on your lower, I want to say your lower leg, but actually they sit on your lap, but they are still the Cayley style of pipe. They don't make over-the-shoulder uilleann pipes, because then they would not be called uilleann pipes anymore. And you don't play uilleann pipes with your mouth, so they're not mouth-blown pipes. The Cayley style of pipes includes the uilleann pipes, which are like small pipes, and also the Northumbrian small pipes, which are actually bellows blown, and they are Cayley style, and they have 4 drones in a common stock. And then we also have the normal, the traditional style of Scottish small pipe, or I should say bellows small pipe, which is the Cayley style where the drones go over your arm, and that's how the drones are played. But there's also the Highland style or over-the-shoulder variant of pipe, small pipe, that are just like the Great Highland bagpipes, and that's actually the common type of bagpipe that I play. I play mouth-blown and over-the-shoulder style, because that's the style of pipe that you play, especially in a pipe band where you're playing Great Highland bagpipes, because those also go over your shoulder. Now let's finish off this video with a tune or something like that. And there we go. That is how to play the bagpipes, how to calibrate your drones, and why I play mouth-blown pipes. Thanks for watching, and more to come later.